Hi, and welcome to SCW, the wrestling channel here on YouTube.com. Thank you for choosing the channel and choosing the video. Please subscribe right now. Leave any comments in the comment section. Please like and share the video as well. Going to be talking NXT Takeover in your house. Got the predictions for you here today. It's myself, Steve, and you also will be listening to the one and only George Jones. George, how are you doing?
Very well. Thank you for having me on the show again.
It's great to have you back on, and going to be great to talk about NXT Takeover in your house. Just to make sure, as I say, to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and we'll go for the full match card. But before we do, there's a bit of breaking news coming out this afternoon from a trusty source in WrestleVotes. They're saying that they're not sure if the full staging will be like the old school in your house, but to expect some old school production in some fashion. Apparently the production is going to be excellent for this show. That's coming straight off of their Twitter account this afternoon. So that leads me straight up to, just before we go into the matches, to just ask you, George, how excited you find this, that we could get a retro feel here for the old school in your houses of 25 years ago.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I'm a massive fan of nostalgia, so I'm really looking forward to doing that. And the fact that this is the first in your house since going back to '99, it's going to be an exciting event, to say the least. I'm really looking forward to seeing what they pull off there.
Yeah, me too. I mean, there's been some great moments over the years when you look at the In Your House series. I mean, going all the way back to, like we say, 1995 was the first one. Diesel versus Sid, I believe, was the first main event that we had back in the day. What was your favourite In Your Houses looking back at it?
I think the thing is, there's so many. I think one of my favourite ones has to be In Your House 11, Undertaker versus Mankind, Buried Alive. I think that was a fantastic match. The introduction of the Executioner, Terry Gordy, in that one as well. We also had the fantastic Final Four as well, down the line in '96 as well, which obviously made it sort of worthwhile, if that makes sense. But no, really thoroughly happy to see the In Your House Monka back.
Absolutely. You mentioned a couple of great In Your Houses as well. I must admit, I want to make a couple of honorary mentions to Canadian Stampede, which was in '97. That was quite a strong one. And I must admit, I absolutely loved the Mind Game ones. I never got to see that back in the day, but I watched that a couple of years ago on the network, and I thought that was a very solid, from start to finish, In Your House pay-per-view. So there are some really great memories looking back at it, and of course, I'm sure a lot of people are encouraged to go over the WWE Network and go back with those In Your Houses. But we're going to talk about the current In Your House, this NXT Takeover, and NXT has been building strong towards this show, and we're looking forward to talking through the matches. And we're going to start off with one that's probably not been built so well, but has been a last minute thrown in. It was a 6-women tag team match that's been put together. We've got Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez going to be teaming alongside the new heel of Candice LeRae, going to be taking on the face trio of Mia Yim. We've got Shotzi Blackheart, and of course we've got Tegan Nox as well. How do you see this one turning out?
I think this is a great way to get them all on the card. I think the main stars in the match are Candice LeRae, Mia Yim. They've done a great job of building up Candice LeRae's new character in the past couple of weeks, which I think has been good. You've also got Tegan Nox there, the comeback kid to a certain point. But the way this match goes, I think you're looking at, it's very close to call, but I can only really see sort of one person going over in that respect. And I think Candice LeRae's team are going to win. I think she has to get a win to get a new character over to a certain point with this team. It makes sense for her to get the win. And I think if you're looking at the person that's probably going to get pinned here, for me, it has to be probably Shotzi Blackheart. I think she's kind of maybe the sort of underdog in this match, so to speak.
Yeah, I mean, I think you make some solid points there. I mean, early into the video there, I mean, Candice LeRae, she's just got into this heel gimmick. She wants to get over with it, and the best way to get that over is for her to get the victory. And perhaps she could be the one to actually get the pinfall for the team as well. She's got, a strong Raquel Gonzalez in her corner as well. Dakota Kai, they've done well building her over the last number of months. There's still that little bit of a feud going on there with Tegan Nox and Shotzi Blackheart coming into the mix as well. So they've built this kind of, casually together, but it does quite well. And like you say, it does well to get everyone on the card. I'm going to go with you. I think the heels need to go over on this one because I feel that they have the most to gain from it, and I don't think it harms the baby faces to take a loss in this particular matchup. But we'll go on then to one match that I know that me and you are very much looking forward to discussing. Tommaso Ciampa going to be taking on Karrion Kross. What are your thoughts of Karrion Kross with his debut so far in NXT?
Absolutely fantastic. I think if we look at the whole thing, the presentation of him from entrance, the whole thing with Scarlett, it's different. The vignettes to build him up as well has been great. And the last time I had such a buzz for a character based on entrances alone was The Fiend. I think it's very similar. I think the way that they built Killer Kross up, or Karrion Kross rather, has been nothing short of sensational, really. I think clearly this guy looks like he's ready to sort of go really up the card quickly.
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, he looks like he's going to be going places and very quickly, and arguably taking on the top babyface in NXT on this show really shows that he's not mucking around. He's going straight towards the top. So it's going to be hard to see how this one's going to play out. But I'm going to have to ask you for one of those all-important predictions, George. Which way do you see this going?
You have to go with Karrion Kross. I think this is obviously a new character, first pay-per-view. Obviously, Tommaso Ciampa's coming off a loss to Gargano, which that has to be considered. I think the fact you've been building this since April 15th as well, for me, it's got to be Karrion Kross. He has to start off with a big win. For me, I would actually quite like to see him get the win fairly quickly as well, to further enhance sort of how much of a threat he is to the NXT roster going forward.
It would really make a bold statement if he was to do it in quick fashion. I wouldn't be surprised if they go down that route either. I'm going the same as you. Kross has to win. There's no way about this. It would damage his character very quickly to pick up a loss this early into his NXT career. I mean, he's only really faced jobbers so far, so for him to go against, one of the big names in the company for the first time, for me, he needs to go over. I want to see a dominant heel, but I don't want to see him where he's unstoppable. I think that's kind of the harm of that. When you mentioned the Fiend already earlier in when we've been discussing this match, it took one loss for the Fiend and a lot of momentum went away. I don't want to see that for Kross. I want to see that he can get hurt, but I want to see him as this vicious psycho who knows he can give it back and give it more and pick up the victory. So I'm hoping that, like yourself, that he's going to pick up the victory here. And I think, like you say, he's got a bright future and a quick future straight to the top. I wouldn't be surprised if he was actually on the main roster within 12 months on Raw or SmackDown. Would you say the same yourself?
Yeah, definitely. I think he's got a good look, and I think he's definitely, the way he creates promos, I think the whole package, him and Scarlett, works really well. And I think what they really are going to do with this match as well, I think the presentation of his entrance is going to be up one. I think it'll be something else at this pay-per-view, 100%.
I cannot wait for it. I'm really excited to see how that is going to play out. We'll go on in for another match then, and we're going to talk about the North American Championship. Of course, the champion Keith Lee going to be taking on Johnny Gargano. I think that this one is potentially going to be a match of the night candidate here. These two can put on some great work, and we've yet to really see it being thrown together here. But they had a mixed tag team match this past week where we got to see just a little hint, almost like an appetizer of what's to come at Takeover. Do you expect a 5-star between these two?
Yeah, I think this is going to be a great match. I think this is a great mixture of styles. I think they're both so different.
It really is. I'm going to actually though ask you what you felt about the build with these two. A lot of work seems to be going on in the kitchen. A lot of sort of promo work. Have you found it entertaining?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's been really good the way they've done it. I like the way that they've involved Mia Yim in parts as well. I think it's a great match, really, to debut Johnny's new character to a certain point on pay-per-view. I think the fact that the way they've kicked on with this feud since Gargano beat Ciampa, I think this is a great match. I think this is one sort of that could be match in the night.
Absolutely. Well, you mentioned, because we said there earlier on with Candice LeRae that it's very important for a new gimmick that she starts off strong. Gargano's in a championship match here, and he's against someone who arguably could be the face of not just NXT, but in my opinion, the face of the company in the next few years. Does Gargano actually come away the new champion, or do you actually have this belief that he can suffer a loss here and it will not do the damage to the character?
I think that they can get away with it if he does lose this here. The thing is, Keith Lee has had the belt now since he's had it for quite a while. He's had it since January, and we're now sort of 6 months on. So I actually think you can get away with Keith Lee losing. You can even get him away with a cheap win, if that makes sense. I think the fact it's not going to do any harm to Keith Lee. Clearly, he's more capable of going up the card now. I think he should really be going towards the upper echelons of the main event, probably towards that world title, so to speak. So I think if he loses it here, it gives Johnny a push as well. It carries on the good work Johnny got by beating Ciampa recently as well.
Absolutely. So would that mean that your pick would be Johnny Gargano?
Yeah, I'm going to go Johnny Gargano to win. Yeah.
We're matching once again then, because I just feel the same as you. I think that Keith Lee needs to be pushed towards the top. It's not necessarily the result I want, but I think it's the result that's necessary. Keith Lee, in my opinion, no disrespect to that North American Championship, he is bigger than that right now. And Johnny Gargano, he doesn't need to be in the World Championship picture right now. I think he would do just well with his gimmick work in I mean, you want to say the mid-card area of NXT, but I mean, it's the mid-card championship. But I think Gargano could do a lot with that belt, while Keith Lee could be pushed to the very, very top. So for me, I actually agree with you. I think that is a potential that they could go down that road. I think we should talk about the NXT Women's Championship next now. Arguably the biggest triple threat match they could put together amongst the NXT women right now. We're looking Charlotte Flair, the champion, going to be defending against Io Shirai, and also going to be defending against Rhea Ripley. How do you see this one playing out?
I think this has been a fantastic build. I love the way that they've basically got all three of them in this position as well. I think this could be one for the archive, really. I really like the way that ever since Charlotte won the belt at Mania, they've sort of told this story in the way that they've involved Io Shirai. Io Shirai is very highly rated. I think rumours today that she's going to be going up to the main roster. Apparently, she's quite likely to be going up. So I think for me, that rules her out to a certain point. So I think they're going to have to go with kind of Rhea Ripley, and I think Rhea Ripley could get the win here. I'd like to see a champion again. I think Charlotte Flair's done a spell on NXT now. She's proved the point. I think if they could take the belt back onto Rhea Ripley and have Rhea Ripley beat Io Shirai is probably the way I'd go. I think Charlotte Flair winning here doesn't really do anything further, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, there is that way. I mean, this is how I see my opinion to it playing out, because I hear a lot of fan backlash with Charlotte Flair at the moment. I do arguably feel that she's probably one of the best workers in amongst women wrestling, period. And yet she has been kind of on a lot of TV screens, perhaps forced down our throats a lot. But you look at it and say that she's known with the casuals. She's arguably what you could say is a ratings draw from the women's standpoint. And she could make a star with the current storyline that she's doing. I feel a triple threat, although learning this week on the Hard Hitting Wrestling show that Charlotte Flair's recent triple threat matches, her record is very poor. She won her first few, and she's actually lost the last 9 she's been in, which is a big actual statistic there that makes you think, well, hang on, maybe Charlotte Flair is not going to walk away here still with the belt in tow. But I do think she's going to escape here. I think that Io Shirai is probably going to be the one to take the fall. I have a prediction that it's going to be Rhea Ripley that will eventually win the belt off of Charlotte once again, but they want to do it in a singles match. In my opinion, if it was being booked that way, I think Rhea would best off be getting that glory and making the star out of Rhea Ripley by winning in a singles match. So I think Rhea Ripley's going to hit the riptide. She's going to go for the pin. It's going to be one of those cheap thrown out in the ring, and Charlotte will escape by pinning Io Shirai to retain and escape with the belt on this night. So that's going to be my pick for you there. But Io Shirai, I've seen that rumor today as well. I think she'd be better suited for SmackDown. What would be your thoughts? Which show would you prefer to see her on?
Yeah, I think the blue brand would be better. I think maybe she could sort of fit more with the blue brand. But I just think it would be great to see that character on the main roster. I think she, as you said, she's previously in your previous podcast, she's such a good worker, and I think she's capable. And I think this is a perfect position really for her to lose and then go up the next level. I think here, if she doesn't get pinned, I think it's a waste really of the other 2 wrestlers that are still going to be on NXT, so to speak.
Absolutely. No, I completely agree. And I mean, just the idea if she wants to be on SmackDown, I mean, matches with Sasha Banks, maybe she could challenge Bayley. There were some great matches then. Of course, you've got the likes of Sonya Deville as well that's up and coming as well. So there were a lot of good possibilities for Io. And I just struggle with the idea of Bianca Belair. She's gone to Raw, not had so much TV time. I wouldn't want to see her struggle. So I'd like to see her go to the blue brand. And like you say, clearly got the talent to do so as well. I need to go and move on to our next match, and a match that certainly had an interesting build, because it kind of was all of a sudden, and we've not heard much in the last couple of weeks. I'm talking about Finn Balor against Damien Priest. Of course, Finn Balor was attacked backstage, and we wasn't sure who the guy was that was to do it. It was revealed at a later date that Damien Priest was the guy. I'm going to throw out a bold prediction nice and early before I come to you, George, with your thoughts. Do you remember the old NXT takeovers where we never used to get announcements that we were going to get a demon? He just turned up. I wonder if we could get the demon come back for In Your House for this takeover, just for the people at home. Would you be pleased to see that? Is it something you want to see? And probably more realistically, is it something you expect to see?
If I want to see it, I'd love to see that personally, but I don't think realistically it's going to happen. I think the fact of the takeover and with the whole sort of demon thing, I think the demon thing really has got to be saved for special things. And I think it would be good to see the demon in NXT. The problem is once you bring the demon in, even if it's for a one-off, where do they go next? Although Finn Balor does have to get some momentum back. Obviously, he had a big loss to Cameron Grimes previously, which was really kind of shocking. It shocked me, to be fair. I think it'd be nice to see the demon, but I don't think for me this is the match to bring the demon back. I think Finn Balor on paper really probably should get the win here. He really needs to get this momentum back really after that big loss.
I completely agree with the momentum needed, because if you look at it, I mean, Finn Balor, if he loses too much against these NXT stars, there comes to a point where you start thinking, well, you know, he becomes just another guy. He's supposed to be the guy that was first Universal Champion, had been on Raw and SmackDown, comes back down to sort of almost, yes, help elevate the talent, but he needs to be one of the main guys, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. I think the fact that he's been sort of demoted from Raw and SmackDown ever since he had that match with Bray, he's never really kind of had that main level, if that makes sense, in NXT. He hasn't really made any much difference to the ratings either, which is surprising. But for me, he's a fantastic worker. This in-ring is going to be great. They're both very good workers, and I think it's great to see Damien Priest sort of go head-to-head. And the way they did this storyline, I've really enjoyed it. I like the whole whodunit. I think that's been quite fun. I like the reveal as well. I think this is really good. But for me, I think this could be a one match, and that's the feud done for me. So I'm really thinking that Finn Balor will win. I think Damien Priest will push him, but I think if Damien Priest wins it, it'll definitely be a shock to me.
It would be a shock. It would certainly make a career out of Damien Priest, that's for sure. But at the same time, I'm with you here. I think that Balor needs it more, and I think Balor's going to take it. So Balor for the win. The Prince will win. Will we get a demon prince even? We'll have to wait and see. But we go on then to what is going to be the main event of the show, and it's going to be a backlot brawl, apparently. So from what I've understood, that this is going to be like on a parking lot brawl almost, and we're going to have Adam Cole going to be defending against the Velveteen Dream here. This, of course, everything's already been kind of recorded, but I imagine this is going to be like cinematic kind of viewing. The rumor was that the people that were watching this, or supposed to be the fans from the NXT roster, came for 7 p.m. and because of bad weather, they weren't able to start shooting this until after midnight. So I imagine everyone that was involved with this must be exhausted. But with Adam Cole and Velveteen Dream, I kind of feel that looking at these two superstars, this could go either way. I mean, I obviously don't want to dive too much into it because we don't know the situation, but there was a small spell where Velveteen Dream had a bit of, shall we say, speculation against him, maybe some accusations, but that seemed to have gone very quiet. I'm hoping that that's proved to be completely false, and that's why it's perfectly fine for him to be back in the championship picture. But Adam Cole's contract is coming up very, very shortly. But we also have to look at the idea that we could get other members of the Undisputed Era involved here. We could get Dexter Lumis. They've all been involved and intertwined in some sort of program here. Me and you have discussed this off air, and I think we have a very similar opinion of the outcome. But first off, I want to know your thoughts of the matchup between Cole and Dream. Do you want to see it again?
Yeah, I think it's been very well built. I'm really looking forward to seeing the way this plays out. I think Dexter Lumis is an interesting element. I think that's very weird. It's great to see the whole backlot thing back. I don't know if you remember, Steve, this is the second backlot ever. They did it at WrestleMania 12. Roddy Piper and Goldust had a Hollywood backlot brawl, so I'm wondering if it's going to be very similar to that. But in terms of the match itself, it could go either way. There are rumours today that Velveteen Dream's another one that may be going up to the main roster. And also, if you look at the whole Dexter Lumis thing, for me, it looked like, even with Adam Cole and the alleged contract situation that's going on in the background, supposedly, I think for me that it has to be Adam Cole. I think Adam Cole's going to win here. I think the reason why he will win here, it all comes down to it that if they are planning on doing a Lumis versus Velveteen Dream feud, for me, despite Dexter Lumis's fantastic rise up the card and his recent work, which has been pretty astonishing really to me, I think it would make no sense for Velveteen Dream to be the world champion and then be feuding with Dexter Lumis.
Yeah, as a title picture, that wouldn't make much sense. I agree. I mean, it would be an interesting twist. It's something that both me and you have felt there. I mean, you can imagine Dexter Lumis helping the Velveteen Dream to get the rest of the Undisputed Era completely out of the way. He actually did that sort of diagram on NXT this week, kind of did the drawing with the car, which was quite fun to watch. And then you get to the point where he's almost there, can perhaps you think going to team up with Dream to take out Cole. We're going to get that new champion, and you can just see that double cross, that heel turn right there, because Dexter Lumis, he doesn't really suit a babyface, does he?
No, definitely not. He's not really. He obviously doesn't do any promos, so it's all done sort of via mannerisms and that lot. But this is very similar, as I said to you off there, of the whole Razor Ramon versus Goldust feud. It reminds me of that, where you've got sort of Dexter Lumis ultimately declaring his love for Velveteen Dream, almost stalking him to a certain point, and then it ends up with them basically feuding. But for me, I think that although Adam Cole's had the belt for a year now, I just think it has to be Adam Cole. I think he retains here. Then obviously Velveteen Dream's then free to feud with Dexter Lumis, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. And the reason why I've gone with the predictions I've gone, it gives me the opportunity, if Adam Cole wins here, we can next get, if they do another takeover, say the night before SummerSlam, depending on what happens with fans or whatever, we can finally get Keith Lee versus Adam Cole, and Keith Lee can become the next NXT champion. That's what I would like to see booked coming out of this going forward. Would that be the direction you'd like to see it go after this?
That definitely does sound good. I definitely think that Keith Lee is the next man. I have to give a shout out to the Hard Hitting podcast as well. I really like what they said on your preview on their show, where they're on about sort of Adam Cole and the Undisputed Era going to Raw. I think that's something I'd like to see down the line. But for me, I think this is a fantastic main event. It's been built well, despite all the drama with Velveteen Dream and all the politics. I think both these two deserve to be in the main event, and I think this is going to be one that is worthy for this sort of in your house return.
Absolutely. I think it will be absolutely solid, and I can't wait to see how the show is going to play out. But that's everything for the predictions anyway. And George, is there any final comments you'd like to make about In Your House?
No, I'm really looking forward to the show. I appreciate having me on the show again, and let's hope it's exciting as it sounds on paper.
Absolutely. I think we're going to have a lot to look forward to, and I'm sure there'll be a lot of talking points coming out of it, and it'll be interesting to see if our predictions do come out to be true. What we'd like to know, though, is your predictions in the comments below. Ladies and gentlemen, please let us know what you're looking forward to about NXT TakeOver, what your picks are for the show. Do you think the Demon's coming back, or is he staying as the Prince? Do you see any shock championships, any heel turns, any face turns, maybe even a surprise debut? What do you expect? Let us know in the comments below. But that's all from us anyway. Thank you for watching. Please like, share, subscribe, share this with a friend. Spread the word of SCW. We're on the road to 500 subscribers. We're currently on the 425 mark as of today.